Good morning, Rabbi Sai. Lili Nishmasi Mimiros Mordechai. Welcome, Dr. Factor. My 9-year-old Avi Goldstein saying good morning, Rabbi Sai, skiing in Stratton, Vermont. 9-year-old.
Good morning, Rabbi Sai.
His good morning is very good. Rabbi Sai not posed. Anonymous from Lakewood went to visit Eli, and he walked in. He was doing the daf right after Shachris. Unposed. Here he is. Tzaddik Yisrael Olam. This I found to be one of the funniest videos ever. Check this out, and I'll explain to you why. So we do have a phone line on Kol HaShon. Do we have one in Israel? Yes, the answer is yes, we have one in Israel. Here's the number, right over here. Yosef, you see right here. Up and down. This is America, why it's funny. This is Israel, and this is UK. It's on Kol HaShon. UK should be to the right. Manchester over here, London over here. You have to be doing Thanks again for the best shit in the Daf Yomi worldwide. Yitz Freed, the Belzer Chassid. Okay, why is this the funniest video? Because the people listening can't see the phone number. This is for people who don't have devices. It's for their phone number. So we just gave the phone number. I should read the number. Okay, so for the Belzer Chassid in Eretz Yisrael, it's plus 972-73-295-1551. If you're in America, it's plus 1646. I don't know if you have to do the plus. 969-2209. And in the UK, it's 44, 20, 30, 34, 14, 18. Givaldik. That's it for today? Givaldik. That doesn't make any sense. Oh yeah, there's a few more. The Koil is sponsored by Anonymous from Lakewood. The Koil is sponsored by supporting Torah, strengthening our bitochen. The Masechta is sponsored by Maaser. We very much appreciate it. He wanted to put his son's name in there, but he felt that it, I don't know, something about Maaser, so it's not there. Okay. The Masechta is sponsored by Anonymous. My brother just this morning asked me if this is my grandmother. I don't think so, and I don't know who the Anonymous is. Is it David? You don't know. The sponsor of the month, I thought okay, whatever. The parents of Shprintzy and Alan Gross, the yahrzeits of our father, Zalman ben Yitz Aייזיק, and Benimin Aייזיק ben Hiresh HaKoyen. The parents of the MDY family, Nishmas Borch Helfgad, Zechron Lebracha, Ben Yibad L'chaim Mordechai Shloime. The parents of the third one, Nishmas Zechariah ben Moshe. Parents of the week, Yossi Klein, Shalom Burch Yehuda ben Yosef Ycheil Mechel. Please put on your status, join for Yiddi.com, Yiddi ybl'c. Now, Rabbi said, check out this video. That Rabbi says Yiddi ybl'c. He was alive, and he was a very, very big part of the shir. He was young, and he's no longer with us. Here he is, Rabbi Yiddi. He was in the Beis Medrash. We took pictures together. A person never knows. One day he's here, one day he's gone. Here he is doing the daf. He brought a lot of people to our daf. He was a big advocate. His neshama should have an aliyah. Rabbi Sai, today we are starting a brand new Mishnah. I am done. Yeah, thank you. We're done with the sponsor. No, we're not done with the sponsors. Shkoyach. The Parnas Shavua, Yitz Moshel. How you doing? In honor of Rebelli, the Baldman Brothers, Yosef Billyack, Gershon, Avi Gargir, Tomer, Nachum Seltzer, and all the others who make this year happen. Simcha Weichbrod, my dear mother, Blima Bas Moish on her 6th yahrzeit. By Simcha Weichbrod, I gotta say this seriously. Simcha Weichbrod, Lili Nishmas, my dear mother, Blima Bas Moish on her 6th yahrzeit. Lili Nishmat, Yardena Bat Lilian. and by Nachum Hurvitz, the famous Nachum Hurvitz from Baltimore. Mazel Tov to all the MDY Mishpacha members who have taken on the new Talmud Yerushalmi cycle of being Messiah Maseches Brachos today. Hashtag keep on dafing. The art of the month for complete refuah for Chaim Tzvi Ben Leah and Rabbi Isai. I love this. Thank you. The art of the day is for Shlema, for Masha Emuna Bas Shoshana, who's having surgery today, Wednesday, refuah Shlema. The art today, we only have one piece because it's Agadita, but it's a good piece. This is one of the, according to the Belz Chassid, he told me that this is the least Agadita of any Masechta. It's a very, very small percentage of the Masechta. He said similar to this is Shavuos, Mila, and Tmura, which only have one daf or whatever, the percentage of dapim versus Agadita. But I want to tell you a word that I just heard from the Rav of Pnei Shmuel. What's his name? Kirschenbaum, yeah. Right. He's the one that said this word. It says, Moshe Kibel Torah Sinai u'Masar Yeshua. Where does it say that? In Pirkei Avos. Why doesn't it say it in the first Mishnah Brachos? And he said because Brachos is about Kriya Shema, it's the Iraisa. We all know where the Torah came from. But Pirkei Avos, this is the Bartanura's question, but he says Pirkei Avos is about Midas, Ben Adam Chaveroi. So I would think that it's not Messinai. So comes the Tan and says, no, even Pirkei Avos, Agadita, it's all from Sinai. All this Gemara is also Moshe Rabbeinu got it from Sinai. Then he went on to say, so if a person is stuck on an island, do you advise him to learn Pirkei Avos, or he doesn't really need Pirkei Avos right now because there's no Ben Adam Chaver there? He says no. Pirkei Avos is Ben Adam La'atzmai. It's how you should work on yourself. And Mamela with that, not that there's a tremendous Agadita, there's a lot of different Agadita here. I happen to love Agadita. There are a lot of people that told me they don't appreciate Agadita, they like more the Lumdish stuff. But Gemara has it all. And there's a lot to learn from it. Says the Mishnah, the Mishnah is sponsored by Mordechai Sapaznik. L'zech nishmas Rav Feivel Kohen, Rav Shraga Feivel, Ben Rabbi Eliezer Kohen, the Mechaber of Badi HaShulchan. Ha'isha shenadra ben Nazir. She made a tnayin and naziros. She made a naziros. V'isa shoysa b'yayin o metamel meisim. We could just, because there's no other charts, we could do this. Here, this is the nazira, and here's the first one, and here's the improved version of it. Umetamel meisim. Hareza zu soifeges es harbaim. She gets malchus. Rabbi say, how many malchus does she get? 39, 40, how many? 78. What's pshat? Look what she did here. Ish ki yodoned Hashem lo yachal dvaroi. 39 for that. And also miyayim v'sheichar lo yishte. 39 for that. You're not supposed to be learning now. I don't know. What did you say? Take off your head. What about Malchus? Oh, I forgot to bring the actual whip. You have a whip there in the kitchen? By the time you get it, we're going to be on the next daf. Go, he's getting it. Okay. Now, the question is, when a husband, but that's a different type, but okay. That's the one I left here. I like the other one better. It works now. This is... Here, come, Avi. That's nothing. Wow. Okay, whatever.
There have 3 parts to it.
Yeah, it's not the real thing.
She won't be able to.
70, yeah. No. You could die from it.
70 anyway. Find the
Let's see.
One.
Oh, it works. We got a button. Our boys say we got a button. Let's see. Let's see if it works. I'm going back here. Okay. Says, so we had 2 pshatim in the Gemara. Taisus goes with 1. Remember, either the woman, the husband, is megas gayas he stops the Nazirus right now, and from here on out, she's no longer a Nazira. But why does she get Malkus? She gets Malkus because before he stopped the Nazirus, she was Oiver, so she gets Malkus. But if we hold Mekar Akar, that he uproots the Nazirus all the way from day one, so why is she getting Malkus now? So that was the last shot we had, because he never did it. He wasn't Oiker. Her husband wasn't Mefer. So she gets Malkus. So this is what's going to get us into the whole Agadata. It's a very interesting situation. A person believes they're being over in Isser. They think they're being over in Isser. She thinks she's in a Zira. But without her knowing, her husband was Mefer the Neder. Was Mefer the Nazir. She's no longer Nazira. And she drank wine. She thought, I want to be over. Let me see if I can get Malchus. Let me see if I'll get something. She went to funerals. She does not get Malchus. Because at the time of the Isser, she wasn't over Isser. She didn't know. Rabbi Yehuda Mardus. Okay, she doesn't get Malchus midai Raisa, but she should get. Somebody give him a Gemara, give him a good seat. She should get Malchus midrabanan. Now Taisus points out a very interesting thing. Typically, when a person gets Malchus midrabanan, we give him Malchus until he says, okay, enough. But this woman can't say enough. Why? Because she already did it last week. That's it. She's done. Okay, so maybe we give her 39 Malchus, maybe a little lighter than usual. And it seems like there's a machlokes here. We'll go with the Rishonim and say that he's actually arguing. He's saying, Tanakh says there's no Malchus at all. I say there is Malchus.
Giving a Malchus on her desire to do an Avera.
Oh, this is the whole sugya now. It's being boiged in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, don't drink wine when you're in Nazira, and she drank.
You didn't do an Avera, right. So just you wanted to.
Right.
So on the Ratzah to do an Avera.
Correct. Watch. Tana Rabbana. Isha Afeiram, her husband is Mefer the Neder, V'Hashem Yislach Lo, and Hashem should forgive her. What is it talking about? If he's Mefer the Neder, why does she need a kapara? Bisha Shefa Labala. It's talking about a woman who had no idea. V'Lo Yada Akasim Medaber. She tzricha kapara tzricha. The pasuk tells us that even though that at the time she wasn't in a zero, but she didn't know, she must receive a kapara. Ukshoya Magir Rebbe Akiva. It's a pasuk zehoya boicha. He literally, Rebbe Akiva would cry. There's another useless statistic. I made it up myself. I don't know if it's accurate. I believe that this is the Amud with the most words chazer in Shas. 9 times. Don't think there's another daf like that. It doesn't say davar acher, it calls the chazer. If a person thought that he's eating treif chazer, but it ended up eating mamish kosher, he needs a kapara and a slicha, even though he didn't do an avera. That itself is an avera. Thinking about doing an avera, thinking that you are doing an avera. Certainly, if you had kavana to be over Issa rice and you're over Issa, of course you have to have kapara. Even if you weren't over Issa rice, you have to have kapara. So certainly, if you're over Issa rice, I once said this whole piece, and I think it's connected to that. I once heard that Rebbe Akiva was a Gilgul of Shimon. Reuven, Shimon, Levi, Yehuda, Gilgul of Shimon. And Shimon was the most active, one of the most active in the Mechira of Yosef. And that's why Rebbe Akiva was from the Asar Arugei Malchus kapara on the Mechira of Yosef. And that's why he cried. He said, look, at the end of the day, my Aveira of selling Yosef is what saved Klal Yisrael. Nevertheless, no. You had kavanah to do wrong, you're going to get punished for doing wrong. It was a beautiful thing that happened. He became the king and he saved the world. And that's not. You had the wrong cheshbon in the beginning. You get punished for that. Bachar Rebbe Akiva. What?
If you and you have a chazer,
no, the chiddush is how much kapara you need. If 100%, but even if you didn't do avera, you need a kapara. How much more so? How much more kapara do you need if a person has kavanah to do avera? Of course, everybody knows you have to have a kapara for an avera, but how much more? If you don't even need a kapara, you need a kapara for something that you didn't do. So certainly, you were shocked that you need a kapara for something you didn't do. So how much kapara do you need? How much? I'm asking you, how much kapara do you need? 100? A million. So if you do an avera with kavana, then you need 10 million. That is 10 million, not a million. Yeah, exactly. We see something similar. This is a pasuk regarding Asham Tali. Asham Tali is when you don't know if you did an aver or not. So our boy said there's two. This is machlokes. What does Asham Tali come for? Asham Tali is something I don't know if it was an aver or not. And had I known that it's an avera, I find out it's an avera, I have to bring a chatas. But I never found out. So there's two possibilities. It's a possibility that a person had one piece of meat in front of him, and he ate it, and he's not sure if it was McDonald's or it was kosher delight. He doesn't know. Is it this or this? He doesn't know. He'll never know. There's another possibility. There's two hamburgers in front of him. One is McDonald's, one is kosher. And they mixed it up, and he ate one. Now, the nafkamina between the two is, when you have two hamburgers, one of them is 100% treif. I don't know if I consume the treif, but there's 100% treif in front of me. The other one is, I don't know if there's treif in front of me. It's 50-50. Maybe there's treif, maybe there isn't treif. I don't know. It's possible there's no treif here at all. It's big nafkamina. So now, the Gemara is going with the Manda Omer that says, one piece. Umami shins kaven alis basar biyode basar tle vol biyode basar chazir kigon khati khosavik shel Shlomo khosavik shel Chayla o makroven osa avoynoi. He has to bring a carbon asham talui. It hangs. We don't. And by the way, asham talui costs more than a chatas. When you do an aver and you don't know for sure, you pay more. If you know for sure, so you have charata, you bring the carbon, it's less. Umi shins kaven alis biyode basar chazir. So certainly if a person had kavana to do an avera and he was matzliach to do the avera, Isi ben Yehuda comes and argues. We're not talking about one piece that I don't know. It's possible it's completely kosher. It's possible it's completely treif. The pasuk is talking about I just brought the pasuk here. If you want to, I have to do this. Here we're talking about a shoygig, he doesn't even know. He doesn't know. So he brings a carbon. He has in front of him two pieces of fat. One is aser midiraisa, one is mutar midiraisa, and he ate one of them. He doesn't know which one. That's it. So there's certainly an isser in front of him. He has to bring a carbon. But if he had in front of him a piece of pork, a piece of davar acher, PIG, right in front of him, and he ate it, those that are sensitive should grieve, they should be mitzdair. Tosis points out, Yidvu is Rosh Tevis, Yoda v'oshem v'nasa. That's why the Gemara uses this interesting lashon of Yidvu, because it's actually the pasuk that we're talking about. Yoda v'oshem v'nasa. Ooh, welcome back, Reb Noam. Wow. Schus. Says the Gemara v'chalani lamali. Look at this, Noam. I go like this, I push a button here. He's not giving up the button. Here. So, there's three things that we just discussed. We discussed a Nazira who's not aware that she's not a Nazira longer. Her husband annulled it. She's not a Nazira, and she thought she's drinking wine be'isr. We have a person who ate a piece of meat. He's not sure if it's treif or not. And we have a person that has two pieces of meat in front of him. And on all these, we said a kavachomer. Certainly, if a person knows that they're a Nazir and they are a Nazir and they drink wine, certainly they should be. Certainly, if a person eats chazer, certainly should need a kapar. What I need three separate cases. tzrichin the tonagabi isha. If I would only say the top case by a Nazira, hasamu debai kaparo slicha mishum de mikara li'isur kabe. This woman had full kavana to be over Isser. She's a bad person. She thought that she's a Nazira. She had no idea that her husband chaps what she is and how she is, and therefore he annulled it or whatever the reason is. But she wanted to be over Isser. I'm a Nazira and I'm going to drink wine. So she did an Isser mamish. You think it's like she had kavana for Isser, not Isser mamish, kavana for Isser. So that's why she needs a kapara. And the person had no intent to eat treif. He wanted to eat the kosher. He had no idea. Maybe that person doesn't need a kapara. So that's why even a person like that needs a kapara. V'itmar hada, and if it says those two, not the bottom one, diki isura, or v'itmar hada, and it says the one with the meat, diki isura. At the end of the day, the person was over. So he did consume that piece of meat we once discussed. You know, there's what is it called that you have in Timtum Alev? You get Timtum Alev from eating treif. So Timtum Alev is there. I mean, at the end of the day, this person ate a piece of treif but Mashenkin, the woman, she didn't drink a cup of wine that's also b'chlal. So maybe she doesn't need a kapara. You can flip it around. It's mamish 100% mutter, like the boy kapara slicha. With marhani tartin, if it would say the top two, avamina and tartin, the sagiloim kapara slicha. There's no vadi isur, because when it comes to a piece of meat, it's possible it's 100% kosher. But when you have two pieces of meat in front of you and one of them is 100% asur, all three cases, the person requires a kapara. Omer Rav Omer B'yochna. Ma'idchsiv ki yisharim darkei Hashem v'tzadikim yelchu bam u'poishim yikoshlu bam. Pasuk at the end of the Haftarah in Parashat Vayetze. Ki yisharim darkei Hashem v'tzadikim yelchu bam. Somebody pointed out, it was my bar mitzvah after, and somebody pointed out, there's a very famous Nazir Yehuda. I'll give you a little bit of a history class. Not to Chas v'Shalom rally up the troops and make people upset. We have a bunch of Chasim. Shalom Aleichem. What's your name, Tzaddik? Yitz Israel from Brooklyn. Barapar. And you, Tzaddik? Avrami Spitzer. Shalom Aleichem. I want to tell you a little thing. For someone else in the back of the corner. Yes, Shalom Aleichem. You were here yesterday? 2 days ago. Okay. See, I only forget yesterday. 2 days. Shalom Aleichem. What's his name? What's your name? What? Shlomo what? Felsman. Shalom Aleichem. And you're an old one. You're not a guest. Okay. From London. Wow. Shalom Aleichem. So I thought about this morning. Be'emes. It hit me like a ton of bricks. If Klal Yisrael, there's a new group in Klal Yisrael today. People came together and said, we have to be Oved Hashem in a different way. It's not working well. We have to do this and this and that. We have to all start davening Nusach Teimani and this and that. Who would be the biggest misnagdim to that group? Hasidim. Because Hasidim, they're very into tradition. You can't move this way or that way. So imagine 250 years ago, 270 years ago, when everybody davened Nusach Ashkenaz, everybody was Litvish, and all of a sudden comes the Baal Shem Tov and starts a new thing. Says we have to go a little this and more varm and the nigunim. So,
What's the Rebbe decides
whatever. I'm just saying history. A lot of Chasim don't even know the history. We all used to daven Ashkenaz. So, why am I saying this? Because at the time, what?
Go back far enough.
Yeah, okay. We were all Sfardim once
upon a time. Really.
So, my point is that back in the day, what the Litvaks did was half of what I think the Chassidim would do today. Today they go crazy. How dare you? They don't even change their shoes. There's certain Chassidim, Skver Chassidim, they wear boots in the summer because that's what they wore. And nothing changes. So are you going to start changing a nusach? What are you, Meshuggah? You're going to daven like a Sfardi? So the other one crazy. One of the things that they were very upset about, first of all, they were upset about the Zman HaTfilah and they weren't so makpid in Shulchan Aruch, whatever, so they went crazy. But one of the things that they started saying, Hineni Muchan Mezuman. Ashkenaz doesn't say it. So the Nazir Yehuda came out with a very, very stark, he was the Galad Dar, and he came out with a very stark psak against it. And he finished off in a very strong lashon, and he wrote, Tzadikim yelchu bam v'chasidim yikashlu bam. That's the famous thing. I just want to explain the history of why they're so stark. Today we look back, like, why? Why did they make such a thing? Look how it's the most popular way of serving Hashem and this and that. And look, they were wrong. Okay, whatever. Then, put yourself in the position back then. You have a small group of people that are being even in a different way. Okay.
The big reason why was about yahrzeits at that time.
Yeah.
So that they were afraid about the yahrzeits, it's the same thing.
Whatever the reason, yeah, okay, fine. They had the reasons. I'm just explaining a little bit of history. Chassidim don't like to talk about it. It's like very like, whoa, we were in Chayrim. What do you mean? You should be in Chayrim. Okay, fine. Did I make you feel uncomfortable? I hope not. Okay, good. You knew this? It's all dvarim you're doing? Okay. Fine, we did this already. So, the tzaddikim are going to go straight in the path. Upoishim, in the same thing, in the same idea, in the same concept, the poishim yikashlu bam. Yeah, that's why I use that pasuk, because like we're trying to be oved Hashem, but you're going to be nichshal. It's a stumbling block for you. Listen to this, Rabbi Isaac. Two people are eating a korban pesach. Echad achal l'shum mitzvah, ve'echad achal l'shum achila gasa. Yiddishkeit again. Yiddishkeit is all in the head, and we're both being mekayim the same mitzvah. And this person, check this out. This is today's art. This person is eating the korban pesach. Oh, we have a chassid. I didn't even tell him to do it. He's eating it b'kavana l'shem shomayim, and this person is eating it b'taiva. You know, he had a rough day. It's erev Pesach. What are you're going to eat the mahadrin yogurt in the fridge? What are you eating already erev Pesach? He's starving, and you're doing the mar and the charaises and this and that. Finally, it comes the seder, and he goes and he fresses up the korban Pesach until he's full. Well, you're not supposed to. You're supposed to like do it Allah. Fine.
You're supposed to eat it once you're full already.
He ate it achila gasa. Listen to this lashon. Even though it's not the maskan of the sugya, but it's a very strong lashon. The chassid, he's a tzaddik yechubam. He did it with kavana. This guy who was mekayim a mitzvah of korban pesach, upoishim yikashlu bam, he's a rasha.
You said similarly in Brachos.
Yeah.
You gave out these little things.
Yeah. And I probably said them my favorite. I said it 3 times. I say it a 4th time. He saw a person making a sidewalk in Eretz Yisrael. He said, "Why are you making a sidewalk?" He said, "What do you mean? Why am I making a sidewalk? Because I get paid 50 shekel an hour. I'm making a sidewalk." He asked the Timana Shiyid, "Why are you making the sidewalk?" He was working with him. He says, "I'm making the sidewalk because I want the women with the strollers to be able to walk smoothly and not have all these bumps." So he said, "Oh, here the 2 people are doing the same exact thing. One, without doing anything, the same amount of work. He just had kavana l'shem shomayim, that from people to the yidden, not from yidden should be able to walk normally. Another guy is thinking about himself. Oh, money. So this guy, he's mekayim a mitzvah every minute he's working, and the other guy is not. Or whatever it is, it's ein daime. He said it's all in the head. Says the Gemara. Hi, Rasha Karsley. How could you call a guy that's eating korban pesach a Rasha? He went and he bought a korban and he went to the Beis HaMikdash and he shechted it and he this and he schlepped it back and he soiled it and he's eating it. So he had a shtickle, he's geschmack, it's a good steak. You're going to call him a Rasha? But at the end of the day, he was mekayim the mitzvah of korban pesach. Ella, I said, I don't like this mashal. Mashal is shnei b'nei. But even if he doesn't like the mashal, there's something about it. There's something about eating the Kavod Shabbos Kodesh and eating a freserai. It's a different thing. It's 2 different things. You have a man with 2 women. One of them is his wife, one of them is his sister. And the other man has the same exact situation. They're in the same room. This one was mekayim the mitzvah with his wife. This one with his sister. Zeshin is not a mitzvah. Isser. Zeshin is down lo yishtoi tzadikim yechobam. He was mekayim the mitzvah. Zeshin is down lo yachoisai. Upoishim yikashlu bam. So the Mashal explains it beautifully. What's poishim? Why is he a poisheya? It was a einus. It was a shaygig. I don't know what it was. He says no. because it's in the person's head. When a person has kavanah, he wants to be mekayim a mitzvah. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is mizamin him his own wife. The other guy, what was his thoughts beforehand? He probably had ulterior thoughts, different thoughts of rishis, thoughts of isser. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave him what he wanted. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, a person has the right thoughts, HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives him the right thing. A person doesn't have the right things, he'll give him the isser that he wanted. That's why upoishim yikosh bum. He was a poisheya, says the Marsha, and then yikosh bum. Then he was. It's not pshat that he stumbled and then he was a poisheya. Because he was a poisheya, says the Marsha, upoishim yikosh bum. He's not a good guy. That's why Hashem stumbled him. Midami, again, not a good case. We're talking about a piece of Korban Pesach that he's over and he's not over. You just brought me two pieces. A chaticha de isur and a chaticha de heter. There's no connection. Ella, says the Gemara, beautiful. The famous story of Lot and his two daughters. Hey, mitzvah. Rabbi said the famous story. I said this also over, and here it is finally in Daf Yomi. Moshe finds in 1920 he was in the city of Luban, and there was a person that said, I want to speak to Moshe Feinstein. He was in the hospital dying. What happened? His tongue was swollen. The famous Maaser, and it's written in Igros Moshe and Chelik Ches in the Agdama. And I said it once, and somebody sent it to me, and Shkoyach Leivi for reminding me exactly where it was. He said that he was a Talmud Chacham, and he got up in shul, and he said, look at the daughters of Lot, how disgusting they are. Not only were they mezana with their father, but they named their son Moyav, from my father. It doesn't get any worse. He gets up in Birnbaum and darshans this. And Amoin, Ben Ami, the son of my father. Crazy. You want to be mezana, one thing, but you have to go advertise to the world. He says, came to him in a dream, two women dressed very, very tznius with head covering, and they looked very old. And he said, we're the daughters of Lot. And you spoke derogatory about us, Barabim, and you should know the fakert. We're mechaven l'shem mitzvah, and we named our son such a crazy name so that there shouldn't be a new religion. That people shouldn't say, well, there's no men in the world, so how did they become pregnant? Oh, it must be from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, like there's a certain cut of people that say. So, we don't want that to happen. And Memela, we named it, we did L'Shem Shamayim. And you had no business talking about us like that in public, and therefore you're going to die. And he died. Kachava. That says in the Yitz Moshel. This is not a thing. He witnessed, the Moshe Feinstein witnessed the story. So, here it is. This is the Makar. We said it a few times, but this is the Makar. They saw Sdom was destroyed. So they thought there's nobody else in the world. They come into a cave, and what do they find in the cave? A barrel of wine. So they say, oh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu put the wine here that we should get our father drunk so we could have children. It's a mitzvah to be mekayim the world. But light. Oh, so this is the same Maaser. Rabbi says, same act. One person gets the entire world, schar like we can't even imagine. David HaMelech, Shlomo HaMelech, Yishai, Mashiach. From this act that we think is usher, look what happened. And the other guy who had a little bit in his head, again, it's all in the head. His kavanah was loy l'shma. Oh, he's a big Rasha. That same act, mamish the same act. Says the Gemara of the how do you know that Lot did this? Or maybe he had kavanah l'shem mitzvah. The pasuk is Al Shem Avera. Look at the pasuk. It says Vayisa. Just wherever I put red, that's what the Gemara is going to talk about. These four words. Vayisa is saying Vayars. It's called Kikarya Mashke. 4 words. Vayisa. The word Vayisa. He lifted up his eyes. Light. You see it by Shimshon. Vatisa Eishes Adon. By Yosef. Vatisa Eishes Adon. V'seinah. P'tifar. It's the lashon of his nos. A saying of. By the way, the Rosh says over here, just a very important machlokes, whether or not a guy is mutter with his own daughter. Give a heter to Kansas and St. Louis, whatever. But Obviously, they're also Beishasish, they're also in Zachar, they're also in certain things. But Bas, this is Machlokes. You have Machlokes. But, says the Rosh, Lamaisa, the Goyim accepted upon themselves. It's not acceptable. So once they accepted upon themselves, it became an issue for them. So, this is Shimshon saying this. These benois plishtim, I want them. So it's a lashon of Isser. Vayar, again in the pasuk says Vayar. Vayar oiso Shechem ben Chamor. Shechem saw her, and then we know what he did. So is Isser. Es kol kikar hayarden, again in the pasuk says Kikar. Ki ba'ad isha zoyno at kikar lechem. Ki kula mashkyo el chacharei mahavai nois delachmi meima yitzabri pishli shamni v'shikuyoi. So shikuyoi mashke lashon of Isur. As the Gemara, but at the end of the day, we say shikr like light. In Yiddish, at least, they say it. Right? Shikr like light. Not, what? Yeah. He was so shikr, he was not a bardas. He had no control over anything. He had no idea what was flying. So he's a anos. Lama noked al vav uvekuma shabchira in the Torah. There's a little dot on top of the vav. In other words, kilu, you can take out that word. That when Lot didn't know, he was so shikr when he went in, but when he came out, when he was done, as he was coming out, he realized what just happened. But it was already too late. He was like awakening from his unconsciousness. Says Gemara, "May the hava." Well, a fool is someone who repeats the same mistake and expects a different
definition of insanity.
Definition of insanity is someone who repeats, keep on going, repeats the same mistake, expects a different outcome. But the bottom line is that he should have been more careful the next day. The way I learned it, I don't know if this is the real pshat. The memela the first time is also. You give him a yisr on the first also. Why exactly? Okay, I don't know. Lamaisi is a rasha, and they did a mitzvah. What is that called? This mitzvah that they did? It's called Aver Lishma. So we have it? No. Aver Lishma. This is sugi of Aver Lishma. Wow, look what's going on the screen. Is that on purpose?
Maybe you shouldn't have a place.
Oh, work it out. They'll work out eventually. A very lishma. They knew that they were bringing over Issa the rice of Znos, but they did it l'shem shomayim, and you could see in the action, because I have to be magdim this. We're going to go into sugi a little bit of Aver Lishma. When you do an Avera l'shem shomayim, there's one very, very important concept that a person needs to know when he does an Aver Lishma. We should not do an Aver Lishma. Nobody here should do it. Why? Because there has to be zero physical hana for yourself. Zero. So if there's any shemetz of hana for you, then it ruins the whole Aver Lishma. So it seems like, although I saw today in Reb Chaim Shmuel Levitz that he seems to say differently, that Bnei Yisrael did have a little bit of a shemetz, and that's why generations later they were over on Znus. I don't know how he touches it up, because in a different place, he's the one that I saw that also, where he says mefurish that it has to be zero. I don't know how to explain it. Okay, I didn't look into it so well. But I know that Reb Chaim Shmuel Levitz himself says that you have to have zero kavana to have anah from it. And we'll see weiter. Says the Gemara. Dorash Rava. My dechsiv och nifsha mikiryas oiz. There's a rebellious brother. Och nifsha mikiryas oiz. From a strong city. Umidyanim kivriach armoin. Midyanim are fights. Kivriach armoin is this. It's not working. You know what? You know what? I'm pulling out here. Let's see if it's this. Oh, it's working. Okay. The bolt of a castle door. Sorry, this is the best I could get. So that bolt, whatever it means, it's a strong thing. Kivriach armoin. Is this rebellious the brother? This from strong. He he put a bolt in there that there's no connection between Klal Yisrael. They were brothers. Avram called him a brother, not Mamash brother. Avram called him a brother. And because of what he did, there's such a period, there's such a block between Ammon and Moav and Klal Yisrael. It's like a bolt, like a strong piece of metal between them. He put fights, kivrichin v'armoin, like a bolt in a castle. You can't marry them ever. The taiva, the desire, he desired to be separated. Nifrod. Ubechol tushia yizgala. L'tavi yivakish nifrod zeloit. He wanted to be alone. He didn't want to be with Avraham Avinu. Ubechol tushia yizgala. Tushia is like a Lashon Rabbim says Taisvis. Yizgala is going to be revealed. Shin yizgala kleinu b'bati k'nitziyos b'bati midrash. Says Taisvis. The two Torahs that we have Torah Shabbal Peh and Torah Shabbat. So in the shul where we read the Torah Shabbat, it says L'yovei Anon Ymous. In the Beis Medrash, over here in this room we have both. We just flip the bima. The new guys don't know about this. Middle of the table it goes poop. It becomes a bima, becomes a shul. So we have both. We darshan Anon Ymous, and we also talk in Torah and we say you can't marry an Anon Ymous. In Torah Shabbat. Oh, sponsored. L'chvoid Yeshivas Noam Torah, Yerushalayim Barav. David Amin Shlita always encourages us to finish us. And Latzlacha for the Magid Shir. Amen. The members of the HBA group and their families. Amen. Yishkoyach. So that's it. So now we're going into the sugya of Aver Lishma. A lot of big figures in Tanakh were over. Try to do Aver Lishma, like Shimshon. He tried to marry Plishtim Lishma, but it failed. Shlomo Melech failed. A lot of failures with the biggest figures that we have in Klal Yisrael. Shlomo Melech, he married 1,000 women. Lishma, not Lishma. Because if there's a little bit of a shemet, of Anah, it becomes awesome. There was somebody came to the Kotzker Rebbe and they said that there's a Rebbe that he embarrasses his Hasidim. He said, but it's kill them. So the Rebbe said, I'm willing to give up my Olam Haba in order to help my Hasidim. So the Kotzker, very sharp, he said, I wonder if he would give up his Olam Hazeh to save his Hasidim. So Olam Haba, okay, he gave him a stock, fine. But that's a very lishma. I'm willing to give up my entire Olam Haba to do. It's lishma. Says the Gemara. Amarula, Tamar Zinsa. We know that Tamar, she had a relationship with her father-in-law Yehuda. And in those days, before the Torah, you can make a cheshbon that you need. She wanted to have a kiyum from Yaakov. Zimri, Zina, but Zimri with Cosby. Cosby Zinsa Yatzim Mena Malachim and Nevi'im. Tamar was Zoichet to Malachim and Nevi'im. Zimri, Zina, Nafal Olav Kamer Vavis Misrael. And Zimri, 24,000 people died because of him. Unbelievable. A person does a mitzvah, shakes a lulav, but he doesn't have the right kavana, is less than a person that does an avera, but he has the right kavana, he does it l'shem shemayim. A person should learn the daf, even if he has he doesn't have good kavana. We already said, Chaim says that l'shma means over l'shma of the Torah. Okay. And Taisus asks, we learned that it's better that you're not born if you learn the Shalei l'shma. He meant no, the famous thing, that's l'kanter, l'kapeach. Person that learns Torah, he goes through somebody's shir to write every word down, what he says, so they can write letters to different people. That's l'kanter. That guy's better that he shouldn't have been born. Eloimo, kimitzah Shalei l'shma. D'chsiv, tavarech menoshim yoel, eishes chaver hakeni. The story with Yal, we just had it in Naftar 2 weeks ago. Sisra, the Goyish general, came in, tried to hide in her tent, and she had relations with him 7 times. Why? L'shma, to save Klal Yisrael. I don't understand exactly because it's mamish pikuach nefesh, but she did it l'shem shamayim. She had every intent to weaken him with the relations, and maybe she would be able to kill him. She took a the peg of the tent and put it right through his head from side to side, got rid of the tzara. But the Torah doesn't just say, oh, she did the right thing. The Torah says she's in the highest madrega. Tevarach minoshim yoel eshes chavakeni. Minoshim ba'oil tevarach. She's in the same tent of the greatest women. Manoshim shebayil, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, Veleah. She's in the same category. 7 relations. Shenema, Bein Raglea, Kora, Shochav, Nofal. Let's see if I can do this. Yeah, it's working. Here we go. Here. So if you look at the pasuk, there's 3 Koras, 3 Nofals, and 1 Shochav. Total of 7. That's what we're learning the pasuk. Bein Raglea, Kora, Nofal, Shochav, and Goyme. I asked the Gemara, but at the end of the day, and here, this is where Reb Chaim Shmulevitz proves his point, that if you have a little bit of anah, yeah, she went in, y'all went in with all the right intent. But at the end of the day, she had anah. There's a little anah there. So that should ruin the Aver L'Shma. Or Rabbi Yochanan called Tevas Shoshayin, Eina Eloroi Tzadikim. As Taisus explains, and we learned it in, I think, in Yevamis, that Zua Mahitul Ba. He put in like a certain ruchnis venom into her. When you have relations with a guy, so she felt it. She knew that she's getting herself into that. Maybe it's irreversible damage or something that took away any anah that she could possibly had. She was thinking about the zuhama, and that was it. So it was 100% lishma, to the point where she's like Rachel and Leah. Shenemar Hishomer Lecha Medaber Yaakov Mitoy Ba'Ra. Because Baruch Hu warned Lavan, don't talk to Yaakov Avinu. Don't even say anything good. Bishlam Ra Shapir. I can understand why I don't say anything not nice to him. El Toiv my Lord. What's the big deal? So give him a few brachas. El Shmamina Tevas Shiroi Shmamina. Even the bracha of Lavan is bad for Yaakov Avinu. He didn't want that. Gufa. Omer Avid Omer Rav. Lo Ilom Yasik Odem Toiv Mitzvah Afilu Shaloi Lishma. A person should learn Torah even if he's not in the Madrega. Now, Rabbi Sai, what it means is that a person says to himself, I want to learn Lishma. I just don't know how. I can't. I'm not capable. It doesn't work for me. That's good. That's a person that's doing the right thing, and eventually he'll come to Lishma. Because at the end of the day, he'll reach the right madrega of knowing how to do it and where to do it and have the right cheshik to do it. Mem-based korbanos should give Balak a Rasha. I think this is unbelievable. Balak the Rasha, who came to kill Klai Yisrael, brought 42 korbanos. Asked him, Arsha, isn't this lekanter? Taisus brings lekanter. If I do something to hurt somebody, that's the opposite of Lishma. Didn't Balak bring 42? He says no. The reason why he brought the korbanos is because he was scared of Klai Yisrael. Klai Yisrael is the chepa mayav. So Mela, he brought the korbanos not to be scared, but it was certainly not Lishma. And look what happened. When you bring a carbon HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you do a mitzvah with a shvach intent to get out of the pachad, whatever it is. Look what happened. Zachav yatzim imenu Rus, or Reb Chanina Rus bas benoi shel Egloin. Egloin was the grandson of Balak, so Rus was related, not really the grandson, not a granddaughter, but a great-grand, whatever, Melech Mayav Haisa, she was the great-great-granddaughter of Balak. Rabbi Sai, have a wonderful day.
Here it's going to say the